Namaste, guys. Christian Long, Life Enhancement Consultant, giving you a big and beautiful shout out from somewhere on the road. Uni and I are tearing it up. What the heck is this shaking in the side? This is my jacket. What is this? I don't know. What's this thing? Plastic? No. This thing? No. This? No. Oh, it's the steering wheel. Oh, it's the steering wheel. Sorry, guys. My tripod can't go any lower, so I was going to mount it over here. I could have maybe mounted it upside down. No, it would have been challenging. Anyways, so we're on our way to South Lake Tahoe, Uni and I, tearing it up. Been driving for about 2.5 hours. I have about another 3 more hours to go. I'll be arriving at my campsite probably 8:15, 8:30. Sun sets around 8:25. What's up, Renata? Namaste, girl. So I'll be getting my campsite around 8:25, 8:30. Sun sets at 8:25. So I'll be putting the tent up probably in the dark, which will be my first time on this trip of traveling around the Pacific Northwest. So this should be interesting. And supposedly it's going to snow tonight with where I'm going to be in South Lake Tahoe. So yay to snow in the middle of May. It's funny because I was booking on a site for camping, and it took me like a long time to like push through. There was something I had to keep refreshing. There was something with the entering the information, like I was just missing whatever they kept asking. And then after everything was said and done, after like 30 minutes of, that's the tiniest chair I've ever seen. After 30 minutes of trying to finally figuring it out, I pushed through. They charged my card. I reserved 2 days at this campsite, beautiful campsite. And then they call me the next morning today, and they go, hey, just to let you know, because of COVID, we're not allowed to have any tent areas. No tenting. I was like, it's just a car and a tent. But you're allowing RVs and all these other things. You're not just, come on, guys. Right? So she ended up giving me like a list of 5 or 6 different campsites within that area that I could book. And so that took another 30 minutes to find the campsite, review the campsite, and then book the campsite. But saved a few bucks, so that's good. And the woman had been in that area for 40 years. So she was very familiar with most of the places she was recommending. She hasn't been to all the campsites, but she knew, hey, if you're looking for mixing it up in town, this is the campsite you want to go to. If this is the one where you want to be completely isolated away from people, this is the campsite. If you're looking for natural beauty on a high elevation, this is the campsite. So now it's nice in May. I don't know about how nice 30-degree temperature is in May, but whatever, I'm down. Let's mix it up. So far I've gone through really bizarre traffic. I've gone through construction for miles on the road, gone through a windstorm, which also had sand, so it was also a dust storm, so super windy without the dust, and then it's also been windy with the dust. So mixing it up, keeping it real. Uni and I are tearing it up. What else? 4 healing clients today. So it was a busy morning, but I was super grateful. I got to get up 5:30. I woke up at like 5:20, no alarm or anything. I was like, this is pretty sweet. So I woke up at 5:20 in the morning, in my tent, overlooking the lake. It was beautiful. The temperature was perfect. And I woke up and I did my full Arhatic yoga practice, including levels, and I was just, brimming from ear to chakra, from chakra to chakra. Super, super grateful. And again, it's like, I remember one of the master Pranic healers said many years ago, there's a difference between an Arhatic yoga graduate and an Arhatic yoga practitioner. So obviously an Arhatic yoga graduate is someone who has taken level 1, level 2, level 3 pranic healing, and then they've taken Arhatic yoga prep. But that doesn't mean you're a practitioner. That doesn't mean you're practicing. It doesn't mean you've mastered. It doesn't mean you have control over your emotions, control over your physical body, control over your mind. It just means you've taken a weekend class and you've gotten a certificate, versus an Arhatic yogi practitioner who they can practice a little bit, they can practice infrequently, they can practice diligently and deeply. So there are different degrees of practitioners, right? So I just was reflecting on how grateful I am to be able to sit down in silence in the middle of nowhere, practically, in nature, 30 minutes from the Sequoia National Forest, and to do my spiritual practice. Now, I was talking with a client earlier today that your spiritual life is more than just meditation. People have this assumption that a spiritual person just meditates all the time, but that's not accurate. Meditation is an aspect of the spiritual life. It's not the only part of your spiritual life, right? It's like you can't go to church for 1 hour a week and pretend to be holy, and then leave church and then drink, abuse your loved ones, kick the dog, yell at the cat, steal from your work, right? You have to practice character building as well as doing your meditations and doing service and reflecting on who and what you are as a soul, right? So there's much more there's much more to the spiritual life than just meditation, which is funny because I got involved in pranic healing and Arhatic yoga because I just wanted to meditate more. I wanted to have deeper spiritual experiences. I didn't want to heal people. I didn't want to do character building. I just wanted to bliss out, because for 4 years, almost 5 years, I had become proficient at doing the transcendental meditation and the TM cities techniques, and I experienced a lot of happiness, a lot of joy, a lot of bliss, but there was something else calling me. It's like, okay, great, Christian, you're meditating, you're helping out with world peace, etc., but could you be of greater service? Could you help alleviate the pain, the sorrow, and suffering of other people more effectively? And this was all kind of playing in the semi-conscious mind, and part of my soul's plan of like, we're going to trick him to get into the spiritual path. We're going to trick him with advanced meditation practices, but in order for him to have access to those advanced meditation practices, he's going to have to take this healing class, then this healing class, then this healing class. Now, when he does his meditation practices and he has all this energy, and if he wants to go higher and higher and higher in his meditation practice, well, guess what's going to have to happen? He's going to have to use that energy for healing. He's going to have to use that energy for service. So, joke's on me. I'm an Namaste, Dean. Are you a passenger in the car? No, I'm driving. What are you talking about? You know how we roll, son. We've been driving, I think today, if I'm not mistaken, I passed the 3,000 mile marker. So this journey over the month of May, the goal, I was going to be doing over 3,600 miles. After recalculating a week ago, I'll probably be doing 4,400 miles. And I think today I passed the 3,000 mile mark. But I still have to drive to South Lake Tahoe. I still have to drive to Reno. I still have to drive to Salt Lake City. I still have to drive to Denver, or Telluride, then Denver. I snuck that in. Do you guys see what I did there? I'm doing a little 4 hour out of the way. I'm going to go to Telluride. For those of you who have never been to Telluride, Colorado, you listen to me. Listen, I want you to get out a notepad, get out a pen, and I want you to write this, preferably a red pen. You're going to want to go to Telluride, Colorado. Period. End of story. Tremendous amount of prosperity energy. Lots of wisdom. Nature for days. It's beautiful. Beautiful. It's different than Creed. Some of you may have heard in previous streams on my thoughts and feelings about Creed, Colorado. Creed with an E at the end. So Creede. Creed, Colorado is like the most mountain of mountain towns I've ever been to. And it takes, from the street, you have to drive into the mountains for 20 miles. Into the mountains for 20 miles. And there's no other way to leave Creed other than the way that you came in. So you have to drive 20 miles into the mountains in this teeny tiny itty bitty baby mountain town where they have like 400 people in season and 150 people out of season. That is a baller mountain town. I love it. Super still. One of my favorite mountain towns of all time. It's completely different from Telluride. Telluride is like the swanky, like Oprah Winfrey has a house there. Tom Cruise has a house there. In Mountain Village. But basically Telluride and Mountain Village are like one and the same. But beautiful, like something like a 3-bedroom, 1-bath house with no yard in downtown Telluride is like $1.8 million or more. Like an ordinary house, $1.8 million or more. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. I've taken many people there. I've gone myself a couple 2-3 times. I have a feeling, I'm racking my brain on this one. I have a feeling that I've gone to Telluride once by myself, but I can't remember if I did it or not. Because most of the time that I've traveled to mountain towns or day trips or whatever, I've had somebody with me. But this will be the first time that I've ever gone, because I'm going to Telluride on the way back to Denver. This is my first time ever going to Telluride by myself. So I'm super jacked up about that. And I heard, if you can believe it, I heard that there's a waterfall, like a major waterfall in Telluride, which I don't know why it took me 9 years to hear about it. Well, hold on, Renata's getting all worked up. Let's see. What are you saying, Renata? That's the mindset speaking. What mindset? About being amazing? Wow, that's one point. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm focused on mastering that virtue. Constancy of aim and effort and non-laziness. Tony Robbins may live there soon too. Aspen, Colorado. He has a home. Ah, okay. Aspen. I had a client in Aspen, Colorado. He lived there for 8 years. He was an entrepreneur, and he says, "Look, if you're into the coke scene, Aspen's the place to go." Because I was considering moving to Aspen. When I was living in Denver, I was in Denver for 8 years, and I said, okay, I want to branch out. I want to live somewhere else. I love Colorado. I've been to most all of the mountain towns in Colorado. Where am I going to hang my hat? So I was asking people, hey, what do you think about Steamboat Springs? What do you think about Creed? What do you think about Aspen? What do you think about Vail? And when Aspen got brought up, as soon as he said it's a party town, true, there's 14 billionaires in Aspen. Great, like tremendous amount of prosperity energy. It has a stronger sense of community than Vail. For some reason, people from Denver always go to Vail. And when I was talking to one of the bartenders in Aspen, he says, we don't get many visitors from Denver. He goes, a lot of our visitors are from LA and from New York City. And I'm like, it's only a 3-hour and 15-minute drive from Denver to Aspen. Why wouldn't you guys have more? Anyways, but I like Aspen because it has more of a communal feel. For me, Vail is very commercialized, and I'm not really interested in that. But hopefully I'm still going the right way. Please let me be going the right way. Please, please, please. Because I start talking, and then I get all blissed out because I'm talking about spiritual things, and then, I was like, all right, I got 40 miles to go before I have to turn off. How long can I talk for? So anyways, so he was, as soon as he said Aspen's a party town, crossed off my list, because at that time I was trying to go to a quiet place, a place to do my spiritual work, a place to do my healing practice, and for lack of a better way of saying it, don't take this personally, don't get all offended, but a place where I could be left alone. If you get what I'm saying, if you do yoga, if you do meditation practices, if you're an empath, I think you can appreciate what I'm saying. It's not that I don't love humanity. It's not that I don't love interacting with people. But there are times in my incarnation that the ordinary world becomes a bit too heavy for me. I don't know about you. I could be wrong. I could be way off base, and I'm the only weirdo in the group. But there are times when I'm like, you know what? I need a break. So I was being inundated from many, many different angles when I was in Denver. So I just needed some space, some peace, some stillness. And the last year of the place I was living in was becoming out of control loud. Traffic everywhere, construction literally a block away, problems with the neighbors. Like, everybody in the neighborhood was getting worked up. So it was just time to go. So when he said Aspen, I'm like, oh, I like Aspen. I like the vibe of Aspen. I like the community, the neighborhood feel of Aspen. Is a party town. I'm like, all right, scratch that, Aspen. But that's what branched me off into other areas. And then I found myself in Kalispell, Montana, because I basically took a trip, a 6-day trip, 1,300 miles around the state of Montana, the 4th largest state in the United States by size, and had a blast. Little did I know, I went at the perfect time of the year when the weather was amazing. And, well, needless to say, I found out that the weather is not good year-round. Not interested. I have to live in a place where the weather's nice. I lived in Sarasota, Florida for 3 years. Beautiful weather. Wait a minute. No. Horrible weather. You don't want to go to Sarasota, Florida. Stay away from Sarasota, Florida. It's not what you're gonna. Nope. Stay away from Sarasota, Florida. But I mean, when I was living in Denver, 300 days of sunshine. Denver's one of the most desirable places in the country to live in. Boulder's more desirable. It's smaller. Boulder has about 55,000 people population. Denver's about 200. No, I'm sorry. Denver is, I think Denver's 600,000. I think Denver's like 600,000, but the population has been decreasing over the past 2 years running by like 1.3%. Anyways, I don't know where I was going with any of that. I wonder if my exit's coming up. I could have very well missed it, and now I'm just driving. I'm adding to my drive time because I don't know where I am. I'm supposed to get on I-80 to Reno. So I'm going to be staying, for those of you who do not know, Lake Tahoe is a giant lake, and it's in the middle of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's in the middle of Nevada and California. So one side of the lake is in California, the other side of the lake is in Nevada. So I'm staying in the southern side on the California side. So I'm going to be in the California side, and it's going to be snowing supposedly tonight. So hopefully I can put up my tent. Actually, the woman said it's supposed to be snowing this afternoon, so I could literally be driving from this bright, sunny, almost desert area, right? And another couple hours could actually be in snow while trying to set up a tent, which I've never set up a tent in the snow. I have set up a tent in the rain. That was wonderful. But whatever, this is all part of the adventure, right? All right, Renata's running game again. What's Renata doing? I recall MCO talk about a monk coming down from the mountain to village where people are and serve. Very nice. Yes, that is correct. Here's another one for you. There are certain spiritual teachers that are in the mountains doing their advanced meditation practices, and then when they're interacting with the villagers or they're interacting with their disciples, one way that they drop their energy to be more relatable energetically and maybe even psychologically for the people in the village and people that are at the base of the mountain is by smoking cigarettes. Because cigarettes drop your vibration. Cigarettes make you heavier energetically. Now, am I saying go out and start smoking? No. Am I saying start doing advanced meditation practices in the mountains so you can smoke? No, that's also not what I'm saying. But I'm saying these are men and women who have mastered their energy bodies. And they're using simple tools to drop their energy. Now, could they do other techniques to ground themselves? Probably. Maybe some of these teachers weren't aware of energetic things that they could do to ground their energy body, right? So they use a physical substance to drop their energy level. I remember asking one of my mentors years ago, I said, do saints know about the chakras? Right? Can you be a saint and know nothing about the energy body, nothing about the aura, nothing about the meridians, nothing about the chakras? And he said yes. So you can be a highly evolved person with a super refined energy body and maybe not know how to ground yourself or root yourself. Because think of it this way, there were many saints ended up leaving their bodies at a very young age, like in their mid-30s or younger, because the divine energy pouring through their system was too intense for their physical bodies. And at the time of saints, is this my exit? Yeah, it's coming up, son. 2.5 miles. At that time, they didn't know about physical fitness like we do now. They didn't know about nutrition like we do now, right? They also didn't have like genetically modified food and all the other things that we're dealing with. But they didn't know all the ins and outs of taking care of the physical body, the importance of the physical body. And most of them were in such ecstatic bliss that they didn't even realize they had a body. One of the great teachers, Ramana Maharishi, obtained his illumination, his samadhi, when he was 16 years old. And for over 2 years, he slept on the concrete of a ashram next to a mountain that he ended up living the rest of his life at, Mount Kailash. And he's like, there were insects that were eating his flesh, and he wasn't even aware of it. And he says for 2 years, it took him, once he obtained his illumination, it took him 2 years to become integrated, to get back into his body. Think about that. How many of us have a really powerful, really like get this, how many of us have had a really powerful meditation, right? Really powerful meditation. And we're like, God, I'm so blissed out, man. Like, that's amazing. Christian, why do you talk like you're high when you're blissed out in meditation? You get my point. So you're like super blissed out. And then you come back into your body, what? 30 minutes later, an hour later, right? What if your bliss, what if your experience was so profound that you were out of body for 2 years? Think about that. People in the village had to feed him like he was a baby. They didn't understand what had happened to this soul. They're like, there's this teenager who's all over the place. Like, he's just blissed out. And there were villagers that had to take care of him. And he said years later, when he was closer to leaving his physical body, he says he wished he would have taken care of his body at that time. So here you go, super, super advanced soul, so blissed out, didn't even realize he had a body. Because he was one with God, one with all, right? So when you're experiencing oneness, you're just like, yeah, whatever. My body, their body, it's all one body. He's the famous teacher that was asked by one of his students, how should we treat others? And he said, there are no others. Now get this, he's not talking from an intellectual construct. He's not talking from theory, right? He's talking from the stillness and the I am that he is experiencing. That's the difference, right? That's why he was considered a teacher of the I am, a teacher of silence. Because he didn't really have teachings. He said, look, just sit down. Just sit down. So when people would sit down with him, they would go into their own level, not his level, but their own level of samadhi, their own level of divine oneness. Think about how powerful and how connected a soul has to be, that just them being one, is enough to awaken the oneness within you. Have you ever been around someone who's really courageous, and just being around them, you feel more courageous? That's an example on a much lower level, right? Courage begets more courage. Or if you're around someone who's industrious, like you're like, God, I realize how lazy my body is. Just hanging around you makes me want to be productive, makes me want to make things happen. What about someone who's funny, right? When you hang around someone funny, you tend to be funnier. So you guys are all welcome for being more funny today. Do you get it? I didn't miss my exit. What's up, Mark? Keeping it real. Who else is on? Mark, who's that in the picture, by the way? So when they drop the vibration, what do they get? Wait. So when they drop vibration, what do they get? It's not what they get out of it. You know how spiritual teachers are energy transformers? Do you know how spiritual teachers are energy transformers? So they take very, very subtle, refined energies from the higher soul and beyond, and they drop it down so it's digestible for ordinary people. That's what, we're all energy transformers for each other. The ordinary person is an energy transformer for the animal kingdom, for the plant kingdom, for the mineral kingdom, right? So it's a transformer means making energy go up in vibration or making energy go down in vibration, right? So when a teacher drops his vibration, it's more palatable for the students. It's not for the teacher, it's for the students. It's always for the students, right? So when the teacher's smoking and dropping his or her vibration, in this example, it's more palatable for the students. They can digest that energy because it's not vibrating so fast. All right, to give you a better understanding. So in pranic healing, there are many classes, right? So pranic healing is the healing modality that Grandmaster Chola Sui developed over many, many years. And within pranic healing, there's about 20 classes. Healing classes, meditation classes, financial classes, etc., right? Using energy to improve the quality of your life. So in the advanced pranic healing class, you're taught a certain color. You're taught all the colors and how you use those colors in healing. One of the colors is electric violet. I recommend taking basic first, then taking advanced, and you'll understand deeper what I mean. But in that class, you're taught about an electric violet energy. Now, electric violet energy vibrates very quickly. Electric violet energy is very, very subtle and very, very refined. So far, so good. Most people cannot metabolize electric violet light. Most people cannot metabolize electric violet light. So when a healer projects electric violet light at someone, in general, it passes right through them. So the energy has to be stepped down to a lower, denser vibration from electric violet, maybe to violet, maybe from violet to gold, maybe from gold to just white prana, right? The energy is being stepped down, stepped down, stepped down, stepped down, so the person receiving the energy can metabolize and assimilate it, versus, here's electric violet light, it passes right through you, so you don't even receive the benefit of the energy. I hope that made sense. If I lost you, take basic pranic healing, take advanced pranic healing. If I didn't lose you, hopefully it was a good reminder that maybe you shouldn't use electric violet all the time for your healings. Maybe you can use light whitish violet, or maybe just white prana. One of the master pranic healers said recently, don't discount white prana. You can still produce miraculous healing results using white energy, but as we experience more healing techniques, as we become better healers, as we have more experience, as our confidence goes up, we start to get a little cocky and we start forgetting the basics, right? We start forgetting the basics. So we start going, I'm only going to use electric violet because that's how I roll. But maybe electric violet is not what's needed for that person. If that person doesn't meditate, if that person is a heavy smoker and a heavy meat eater, their energy body is grosser and denser, meaning it vibrates slower. Electric violet isn't going to be super, super duper effective for them. But white will be. White prana, white energy, which contains the properties of the other energies. Red prana, yellow prana, etc. So, I hope you guys are getting some benefits. I hope you're learning something. Okay, so I covered everyone's questions. Nice. Look at that. Covering questions while I'm driving. So, that being said, guys, I'm going to let you go. We got our stream in. What the healer is doing with Uni today. We're just driving up. We're driving to South Lake Tahoe for the first time ever. Looking forward. It seems to be all the large bodies of water that I've been visiting the past 3 weeks. I've been surrounded by coldness. It is what it is. For those of you who saw my video on Crater Lake in Oregon, it was terrifyingly cold up there. But I'm grateful that I went, and I'm grateful that I got a video of it, and I'm grateful that I can remember this for years to come. Because every time you travel, you pick up new energies, hopefully you pick up new insights, you make yourself a more holistic human being. So, lots of love to each and every one of you. May God and my teacher's blessings be upon you in all ways, shapes, and forms. That's a big fat cloud. And for those of you who need healing, feel free to reach out to me at christianrlong.com. Boop! It's my name, it's my website. I am still doing healings while I'm on the road. Rain, sleet, or shine. The only thing is I got to make sure I got Wi-Fi reception because I like to see people. I like to connect with them visually if we can't meet face-to-face. But you can receive healing benefit whether we ever see each other or not. Don't forget that. Because healing is based on intention. Well, there's many factors, but intention is a big one. So all I do is have to be attuned to you or to the person you know who needs healing. I don't need to see them. I don't need to talk to them. Just do the protocol and then follow up with them a day or two later and see how they are doing. Okay? So, that being said, lots of light, love, and power to you guys. May your lives be blessed on all levels without exception. And I will see you very, very soon. This is Christian Long, Life Enhancement Consultant, wishing you a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. Atma, Namaste. Bye-bye.